Being anti-NATO does not mean pro-Russia. Criticizing American foreign policy and NATO aggression, escalation, and provocation in that region for decades does not mean I support an illegal invasion. It just means I understand history. Acknowledging the power differential in world affairs does not mean I'm picking sides. Analyzing events through this lens, through this context, demonstrates critical thinking. Calling someone a Putin apologist for being anti-NATO is a logical fallacy, and this premise should be rejected wholesale. Furthermore, I'm an American, and as an American citizen, I have a small but not insignificant influence on my government's actions, which are being carried out in my name and with my money. I can do nothing about the actions of the Russian government and must leave that to the Russian citizens to sort out. And it just so happens that the country that I belong to is the only superpower in the world. The only sensible position to take is one of diplomacy, de-escalation, and encourage a peaceful negotiation between the two powers. This is a proxy war between US and Russia. Let's not forget that. There's only one side in this conflict whose stated security concerns have never changed for 3 decades. Ukraine has always been a red line for the Russians. And there's only one side in this conflict who has continually thwarted negotiations and attempts at diplomacy. Don't believe me? Here's a leaked diplomatic cable written by the current director of the CIA and former ambassador to Moscow, William Burns. This was provided by WikiLeaks. In this cable, he admits that the US has not listened to Russia's security concerns and expresses fear that it might eventually lead to war. He also admits that much of the Ukrainian population is against NATO membership. This is not exactly a secret. Let's not forget that after the Berlin Wall fell in 1990, the US government promised the Russians that NATO would not be expanding 1 inch eastward. That's the exact quote. Look at this. It was foretold and feared. George Kennan, James Baker, Senator Edward Kennedy, Sam Nunn, Thomas Friedman, among others, all warned in the 1990s of a new Cold War if NATO was expanded without including Russia. So don't take my word for it. Take the American government's word for it. The unsettling truth is that the US does not care about Ukraine. It cares about its economy, and it's using the Ukrainian people as cannon fodder. But go ahead and call me a tanky.